Breaker out first. Okay, counter poke, hang on. Oh, that was nice. Oh, Captain Hindsight strikes again.
And this random guy in chat named Shuletta was like, oh yeah, like I'll pop in and play. And he mopped the floor with me. Like, oh, confidence was shot. And he shot me a message after. He's like, hey, there's a couple things here that like could help. And he took some time and got one-on-one with me. And Shu ended up becoming a good friend of mine, and he got me into the competitive scene.
Is gonna be allowing Biso to get a nice 35% on the board here. It's gonna continue on. He's gonna extend it even more with all 3 bars at his disposal, and the armor is there to negate any kind of combo from Gur. Biso has done it.
When I went to Evo as a competitor, I fell in love.
Any and all projectiles, it has to be so demoralizing that like half my tools just don't work right now.
Poseidon needs to make an insane comeback here, but I don't know if you can if you just get bumped in the head.
We something that we run drills sometimes. I think drills are really underrated. Are they fun? No. I will be the first one to tell you that. They're not fun. But even doing a drill like once a week, even if it's just by yourself, 30 minutes, before you warm up, it helps a ton. One of our training rules is we require people for 30 minutes, like before they like go into a tournament. 30 minutes, go in and run. Here's a set of drills, things to practice, etc. A lot of people put big emphasis on KL. I could give a shit about Combat League.
Hello everybody, welcome to the 21st episode of the Poseidcast. With me today, I have, is it Copper or Cooper? I'm sorry.
Copper. Everybody calls me Cooper in bracket.
I am
all the time.
I'm sorry, I'm dyslexic, so like every time I'm like, as soon as I was about to start it, I was like, wait. Oh man, I'm gonna say his name wrong. I know I am. This is the classic Poseidon thing to do.
The co-owner of the team calls me Cooper as a joke because everyone does it wrong.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you might have played in one of our events. I was calling you like Cooper, and it was like it's Copper. I was like, oh, of course it is. Whatever like the name is, and it's like it could go either way. I'm gonna say it wrong. We're sticking with this intro. This is how it's gonna be.
That's all right.
So yeah, the owner of Kingsguard, one of the like up and coming teams here, have a lot of like really good players who have gone out and done good at some recent tournaments, like Evo and Defend the North. Like you said, there are a lot of them are based in tri-state, so they always say that the MKNG local, and that's a sweaty tournament. That's hard to do well in, so consistently doing good there. So what made you want to start like an organization, especially within the MK community? That's really niche, and FGC's niche by itself. So
it's actually ironic. I had never like played in a tournament before, and at the end, towards the end of MK11, I'd gone to Evo as a fan one year, and I wanted to go the next year as like a competitor, like actually really try. I loved RoboCop. I was always a zoner, so I practiced and practiced and practiced, and I popped into an event, one of Aquaman's events, for fun, and I was supposed to fight. Is it Bambinos? I was supposed to fight like a bigger name guy, and he wasn't able to make it. He had to back out. It was just like a for fun event. It was like you played each round was a different era of MK, and this random guy in chat named Shuletta was like, oh yeah, like I'll pop in and play, and he mopped the floor with me. Like, oh, confidence was shot. And he shot me a message after. He's like, hey, there's a couple things here that like could help. And he took some time and got one-on-one with me. And Shu ended up becoming a good friend of mine, and he got me into the competitive scene.
Really?
He taught me, he taught me about jailing. He taught me what fuzzy guarding was. He taught me about neutral spacing. Like, he taught me everything because I was just new to it. And when I went to Evo as a competitor, I fell in love, top to bottom. So when MK1 came out, I was looking for teams. Reached out, ended up getting on a social plan over at KWA. Met a lot of really nice guys there, but in the end, it was a lot more of a casual environment than a hardcore competitive team. And so I wanted something different. So I reached out to the owner, and I said, hey, I want to leave, but and I want to start a team, but I want you to do it with me. Right? I know that it used to be competitive, it's not anymore. I want to start fresh, a new team, entirely like separate, and asked him if he'd do it with me. He agreed. So he's technically the owner of both. we have no affiliation with them anymore. But Victor Freeze came over and started running it with me, and then B&G, who was just such a smart young guy, came over, and then we eventually added one more leadership role in Stelly or Hercules, as most people know him, and built out this really amazing roster, a full statistical tryout process, coaching staff, the whole 9 yards, and it's been amazing. We do it all with a charity, so anything we earn or anything like that. If a player earns money, they're free to keep it.
Yeah.
We don't take a cut of any of that. But anything we do for the team, we do exclusively for the charity. The charity's 100. It's called the CJ3 Foundation. Please, if you're listening, go check it out. CJ3Foundation.org.
Link in the description. I'll link it there.
They do free mental health care for veterans and first responders. 98% of donations go right back to helping veterans. The other 2% just run the website. Wounded Warrior Project, great charity. They actually keep, I think it's 67% for infrastructure. Doesn't go back to helping people. It's stays in for their stuff. One of the reasons I'm so passionate about this one, it's 100% volunteer. Even the CEO is completely volunteer work. Doesn't take a dime of it. And they even structured it with the two owners. One's super conservative, one's super liberal. They did that on purpose because they wanted to be completely apolitical.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with politics, just helping people. And we try to reflect that over with the team as well. So today I get to do mostly coaching and teach these guys and build this stuff up, but also do something I love for a good purpose, which is just a wonderful experience.
Amazing. So that's really cool. So anything that you may make goes back to the charity. That's really cool. And so you said that Chuleta introduced you to the scene. So I love Chuleta. I think he's a really cool dude. He was really good at 11. He was really good at this game. He's got ranked in the top 100, both in 2023 and for this most recent one. But bridging someone from a casual to a competitor is not something I would pin Chuleta to do.
I know. Every time I tell people that, they're shocked.
Because I feel I've never had a problem with Chuleta, but I know 30 different people who have.
He is the shit talkingest kid I've ever met. I swear. But he is a teddy bear. Yeah. Once you get to know him.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I loved it so much, is because when I got into it, I got to know more about Chu, and he was always kind of trash talking, really, really good, but he was very very much focused on himself getting better, right?
Yeah,
he didn't do a ton of expanding out. The fact that he reached out and did that stuff and helped me grow, just made me feel so good, right?
Yeah.
There was that personal connection.
That's awesome.
And I think that was one of the big reasons that pushed it forward. I actually ended up meeting a bunch of the other guys. I know he's not with DG anymore, but I ended up meeting the owners of DG and Gambler and Gemini and all those guys, and they were just the best, right? And falling in love with the community just kind of pushed it even farther, and now it's like an addiction. I have to go to rehab before you get me out of the FGC.
That's amazing, dude. The FGC is great because I feel there's so many people from different walks of life, and then they all can bond over this game, and everyone just no, not everyone, but a lot of people really care about it, and then you end up caring about the people within the community and stuff. And I think that's really cool. And then you have this charity that you're doing everything for. So anything that it's you make a little bit of money just goes to that. It's actually pretty incredible, remarkable thing, because your team is a really good team. It's one of I think the better ones now. I think you guys can go toe to toe.
Only 7 months old.
Yeah, 7 months old. That's crazy. They're coming up, and I know you have Hercules and stuff. And Victor Freeze is one of my friends in the community. I actually did a podcast with him a couple weeks ago. He's a really cool dude. I have his book. I've been reading it. I'm actually currently reading it.
It's a really good book.
Yeah, have you read it?
Yeah, not all of it, but I've read part of it.
Yeah, no, I've read
really
half of it. It's really good. Yeah.
I'm not a big reader. I'm a big manga guy, so the fact that I'm still going through it is
you need to really get attention. Yeah, no, it really
right?
gets your attention. Stuff like that. I read it. I was I'll read it. It's oh wow, it actually made going. So, what is your like scouting process? Do you find people? Do you wait till people reach out to you? Do you kind of say like, hey, we're having open tryouts, come out for KGA, or someone was watching who wants to be on a team?
Yeah, so a couple big rules for me is one, I don't do any poaching. Like I actively try not to poach and go after players. In the end, this is a video game, right? We dedicated a ton of time to it, but I don't want to like hurt someone else just to like have any like step over and benefit. I'm get along super well with like Sick with it, Reckless over with Sin. Those other team owners. Like I made an effort to like meet them and talk to them and get to know them a bit because in the end we're all trying to do the same thing, just get better. Lankiness is one of the coolest guys.
Yeah, no,
right. STG, not a bit of Hollywood in it. Right.
Yeah.
I love that kind of mentality with everybody. And so when we look through it now, we actually had so many people try onto the team. So we have a sponsorship program now. Basically, one of the 5 leaders I listed earlier. Basically, one of them will vouch for you, sponsor you. It's our way of like vetting.
Yeah.
And once you do that, you go through a tryout process. We had our tryout lineup, and you had to play Beansole, you had to play Measy, you had to play Herc, you had to play Mist, you had to play BNG or Vic.
I'm not even making that team.
I won't say names, but we have like 3 or 4 like really, really big name guys, people who've won tournaments, like placed, at big events, and they never made it to the 4th set. They were just getting washed out, and so we recently launched the Academy team, which is a competitive team in its own right. But we thought, let's take these guys, because 7 months ago, no one knew who the hell Measy was. No one knew Beansill, nobody knew Mint. Like these guys were kind of not on the radar a ton. And they came in, we worked together, we lab stuff, we trained, we practiced together, and today they're kind of household names to a lot of like people in the MK community. And so we didn't want to lose that. So we thought the Academy team's the best way to like have a competitive team where guys who wouldn't make the normal roster, but we see a ton of potential in that we can kind of build out of. We recently added some guys, Krillin, be chillin', reptile player. We added a second one in Monkey
Nate.
Hanzo.
Nate,
Nate. Both are great guys. We added Mappin, who has been doing really well, especially with Rain. He says Brock is his best character. I disagree. I really like his Rain. And then we recently added Boo Radley. Mark my words, Boo Radley will be winning events within the next 6 months. That guy is a monster. He cleans a few things up, and he's going to be insane. So, actually, I have if you don't mind, I'll actually just straight up make the announcement on here.
Yeah, go for it.
I haven't posted or anything. We've got 1 slot left for the Academy team. We're going to host a tournament, and it's going to be commentated by me and Slayer.
Slayer's going to do it.
Yeah, Slayer's a friend of mine. He's going to commentate with it, and the winner's going to get offered the final spot on the team. I know MK Michelangelo from Yomi. Super like we text each other. Like I call him a bunch of shit.
He's a legend.
He stayed with us at Frosty Faustings, and because of him, now I have met Forever King. I know Slayer really well. He made me a mod a couple months ago on the stream, and I legit cried. It was like validation. Like I, made a point in there. So, I haven't made the announcement or anything like that, but this is first time getting to hear it. Like, so anyone who wants to, we've got one last spot out. Regardless, we have a public Discord. Everyone is welcome to come in there. You can at me or any of the players, ask for games. Really high-level players that aren't affiliated with any teams right now with ours. I'll use Hello Larry as an example. Really, really strong player. Hello Larry was in the Discord just playing games with them. Missed the Natara player is in there just playing games, interacting with people. So you can get really nice like sets and good practice there, whether you're part of the team or not. We want to welcome everybody because you only get better together.
Yeah, no, I think we're creating a community, like within the community or outside of the community. I don't know if it's a bigger one outside.
I always
really good.
think of the FGC and MK as like a sibling relationship where like we will bully each other probably way more than we should. But no one outside of it is allowed
to bully us.
Right? Like,
100%. I think that's the best way.
We'll come to bat for each other that way, and I absolutely love that aspect of it.
That's really cool. So when is the tournament happening? Did you say the date?
We haven't set a date
We haven't
yet.
set a date, okay.
Check out on our Twitter at We Are Kingsguard. I will be posting it. You'll see I got a whole like banner and stuff up for it. We're just kind of ironing out the dates for them. But that'll give us the last academy spot. But anyone else who wants to try out for like the main roster, you are more than welcome to reach out to me or any of the other leaders. And regardless, like bare minimum, come in and get to know us. When the secret level Amazon show comes out, we're gonna do like a big watch party in the Discord with like everybody to kind of go hang out.
Awesome.
You know, at Evo we get a house together. And it helps save us a ton of money. That's like one of the biggest money savers for us.
Yeah, that's how I
And we had a movie night where we're gonna watch Scream because I was all excited for Ghostface because I called it that they were coming.
Yeah.
And we ended up watching The Green Room, which is just a phenomenal movie. It's so good.
Never heard of it.
Patrick Stewart, you know Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Plays a white supremacist neo-Nazi
Interesting.
as like the villain. I was like, this is a weird role for him.
Yeah.
I'm into it. But yeah, it's
I think
great
those
film.
connections. Honestly, like like joining a team is a good aspect because like you can get like housing for those tournaments. Even if it's like a regional tournament, it's like, oh, it's so expensive. But if you get the housing part covered, that's a huge part of it. But like having people like in like Chicago, Las Vegas, like New York City, Florida, where a lot of these big tournaments happen, are some of the biggest FGC scenes. And people who are live like can drive to the tournament. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, and to kind of make it even easier because I don't have the money to like pay people out of pocket as much as I would love to, right?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm working on like some bigger sponsorship deals to kind of help with that stuff. But we went to Evo, we all got a house together. Yeah. We carpooled over. It was $150 for the entire trip per person.
Really?
$150 to
that's
stay
a good deal.
the entire time, and you got your own bedroom. It's not like you were sharing. No one was sleeping on the couch.
That's a good deal. I'm not even going to say
it was
you
a
guys.
huge house.
Go to you guys.
Yeah.
I actually may have.
Our rule is it's like first come first serve for like people on the team. But if we got extra room or more people that get back with us, you are welcome to stay with us entirely.
So I actually
we even have a media team that comes at the events too. Take a picture and.
Oh, that's really cool. I think that Smart gives you some social media stuff and stuff like that.
That's how I do all the fancy pictures and stuff on the Twitter.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah. No, so I like how like on top you are of like the team and stuff like that. Like when they have like results and stuff like that. I think that's really cool because that's one of the reasons I've like done the top 100 is I think like these individual tournaments that happen do hold value and stuff like that. So I feel like a lot of them kind of get like rug swept or someone that's really good and like they get a lot of good wins. But, there isn't, like, much promotion. Like, maybe the TL will put out something. So, it's cool to have the teams that are there and, hey, like, our players are actually, really good at this game. Like, I think that's awesome. Do you, like, you guys, like, branch out into any other games? Or is it just strictly Mortal Kombat for now?
We've talked about it. I don't want this to sound conceited. But I put a ton of time into this. So I'm a happily married father of two. I have a full-time job. I work for a local sheriff's office as the IT admin and the drone pilot, like on scene. And that eats up a ton of time.
Yeah, that already sounds like most of your week.
A lot. And then, my wife works a really high-profile job, so she's busy all the time. So, finding the time to kind of gap it all. I wanted to be huge as a player, and I spent a ton of time to it, but I ended up spending so much time focusing. For example, I wanted to learn frame data. I made flashcards when the game came out and memorized every character's frame data.
I said I was going to do that, and I didn't.
Yeah, so I made hundreds of flashcards and memorized them all. Like, most people could ask me a string, and I can give you within a frame or two.
Reptiles back 3, 1, 3. I'm blocked.
Back 3, 1, 3. That's the low, mid, low.
Yeah.
It's minus 12.
It's punishable. You got it. It's
minus 12. It's got a gap between the second and third hit.
And if you do a special move.
Low, mid, low. But he can make it special. He can make it safe on block with certain cameos. But
and he can special cancel the.
And if he does just flawless block the reptile.
The dash.
Dash.
Yeah. So you can outright. You can react to the low and. Yeah. No, for real. Yeah. I don't know who. If anyone plays that character, they really shouldn't. navigation bugs. Yeah.
I don't think he's nearly as bad as people say.
No, I think he's good.
I think people are playing him wrong, and I'm actually experimenting on that. Keep a lookout for Krillin and Hanzo, because I think that they are. I think that Reptile is sneaky one of the better zoners in the game, and
me too.
no one plays him like a keep away zoner.
Yeah, it's just because Force Ball is tends to be like a really big commitment. Like you think about like armor and stuff like that, but no, like I've been playing Sonya a lot, and the ambush with it is like it makes you like an actual zoner.
So good.
Yeah. Because like cause normally the tech is I'll just jump over it, but then you get hit the Sonya, get hit into the Force Ball, and you get a combo. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and people are always concerned about the recovery frames, like how much time it takes to recover.
Yeah.
It's actually the same recovery frames as Reiko.
Reiko's
like
stars.
Reiko
Stars. Has 5 hitboxes.
Yes, I'm not saying it's better, but I'm saying like the recovery shouldn't be the concern because of that. He's not like easier to play, but that's a mid that launches and on trade still gives you time to get the combo. And
especially
it's
use Movado, which is his best cameo. You can do that Force Ball trades and then you call in Movado and you get the combo center.
Yeah, it's. I think he's due for some buffs. I think he needs a couple changes,
got so many
less gaps, right?
Yeah.
I think if he finishes that low string, it should be like -7.
Yeah,
I think that
it's so minus. You said -12. I don't know. It's minus like 23.
It's -23.
It's very minus. Yeah, it's. Ridiculous.
I thought it was -12.
Well, like I feel like putting in the categories because like I know you made the flash card. Like getting the exact number is like good, but like as long as you're in the range, like 12 and 23 bit, like you're,
Yeah, if it's 12, you can punish.
Yeah.
Most
stand one, like usually, like because
stand
of the threat of like special canceling, like usually it's just best to do your fastest move because it gives you more time to react.
Yeah, but to finish the original question, there's other games that I would like to expand into. Street Fighter, Tekken are really fun, but the problem is I spend so much time between coaching and I do VOD review, we do like the graphic design, we do all of it.
Yeah,
I don't have the time for like the management side to take over another game, and then finding someone that I know knows those games as well as I know AK. And will put the same effort in is hard.
Yeah.
I want to find it, but I don't want to just put someone in there just to have us grow and get bigger.
Yeah.
And not have it be the person that makes people better and helps. So
when
I find that, I'm all for it, right?
Yeah.
I will push that next level, but I don't want to overstep into something.
I think that's smart.
Pace ourselves. We're growing at a way bigger rate than I thought we would, as is. So someday.
Yeah.
Someday.
You have a really good good team. So something I had an idea of, and you can let me know right here on the podcast because the idea. And I could potentially host it, depending on time and stuff like that. But having like a league of like the teams where they do like 5v5 group battles like once a week, something like that, and you can set up the time and play. So it's like, and you have teams. So if you just need 5 players to be available, and they just do like a group battle. You do a league, and you have like a record and stuff like that, and then you do like a playoffs and stuff like that, and like some teams don't make it, stuff like that.
I actually had an idea. I want to do a charity event, like specifically for the charity. I've spoken with ELG, they're down. I've spoken with Sin, they're down. I've spoken with VLE, they're down, and then TLR is also down. The only one I haven't heard back from Likiness yet, but knowing Likiness, I'm sure
he'll be down. Yeah.
I want to do a team battle where it's like 5 players, like one from each, but it's one from each team.
Yeah.
So it's like one from Sin, one from and kind of intermingle, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I think people see teams as like
clashes
and stuff
like that.
In reality,
rivalry and stuff.
In reality, most of us are like friends and stuff outside of it, anyways. And I think that would be a really, really fun event to just kind of do. I originally thought of it like a fun league, but I'm like, oh my god, I don't know if I have time to commit to that.
There's ideas and stuff like that.
You do that, let me know, because I 110% have guys that would definitely play into it.
Yeah, I think it would be a fun way to like kind of get the teams thing, and
great chance to get some of our newest members to shine. I don't know if anyone has seen, say, Cassandra play, but she throws fans like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I saw her like playing like Mountain Dew Joker, and Mountain Dew Joker's good. Like we go back and forth. She was, no offense to him, he was cooking. I was like, wow.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty. That's pretty impressive.
She doesn't need to because she's playing Katana, right? Down one, mashing. But I call her Cash. Cassandra Mash, but
that's just a Katana thing. It's not.
It's not her thing. But I think no one is like taking advantage of the frame data with Katana.
Yeah.
Microducks with Katana are insane. She's -5 or -6 on everything.
Yeah, no.
So
Microducks I feel like are underrated in this game. They still work like really well. So I think that's something you're gonna probably see more as the game moves on.
I'll keep it as an in-house trade secret, but someone I struggled learning how to do it, and people always told me like, well, you just have to feel it, right? You just got to feel when to do it. I'm like, that is the worst coaching advice. That was the equivalent of the discussion, but. I did a bunch of research and started working on it and paying attention. I actually found a way to teach people like when to do it and how to do it.
Oh, okay.
Something that we run drills sometimes. I think drills are really underrated. Are they fun? No. I will be the first one to tell you that. They're not fun. But even doing a drill like once a week, even if it's just by yourself, 30 minutes, before you warm up, it helps a ton. One of our training rules is we require people for 30 minutes, like before they like go into a tournament. 30 minutes, go in and run. Here's a set of drills, things to practice, etc. A lot of people put big emphasis on KL. I could give a shit about Combat League. I think I'm only like Warrior. Like,
I think so.
I don't care much about it.
My 2 cents on that. I'll let you continue. I think the drills are really good. I think that's a very underrated thing. Like you said, I do that. I feel like that's helped me like improve that games and stuff like that. Like I'm kind of as like a test to like see if I can like improve any game. I've been getting into Injustice 2, and I never got into Injustice 2. Like I watched it towards the end. That's kind of what got me to the NRC, but I never really played it. So I just recently got into that, and there's like a community and stuff. So kind of seeing like how I can get better at the game. Especially when I'm like first getting good at the game, I do drills and stuff like that, and I feel like after like a while you can do it and stuff like that. Like you can practice it here and there. You don't need to like keep doing it. Like you don't need to run the same drill for 10 minutes a day for the rest of your life. Like, but it's good to if you do that, then more power to you.
Yeah. It's where we have a list of them. So like you got to do. I actually do one of them, but there's like a jailing drill or hit confirm drills or a super underrated one. I'll sit full screen with Reiko Sonya. That'll make them walk full screen, and they have to neutral duck all the high projectiles and block the mids. If they get hit by any of them,
they start over.
They start over. Like
that's good.
And we just do that on repeat. To this day, Dark Green 40 will never block a high projectile. I run that drill so many times, and he's so good at it. Let's play Shang.
That's really good. If you're not gonna get zoned yourself, but you can zone your opponent, that's a huge advantage.
You can split full screen on Reiko.
Yeah.
If you can tell when it's a high or a mid, you can just sit full screen on him. Yeah. I played Reiko for a long time because. I don't care if Ghostface makes Takeda look like top 1. I am gonna play nothing but Ghostface. There's a whole backstory to that, but he's not. No way he's gonna be a zoner. I've never not played a zoner. So since Evo, I've completely dropped all of my main characters for non-zoners to learn how to play better neutral, better footsies, things like that, and kind of force myself to get better at that. So
you said the thing about Takeda, I'll say that real quick. I'm not sure if it's just that's like a low-key really bad matchup for Reptile. Like maybe Takeda is like a bad character, but I think Reptile was good against some high tiers, but there's some like weird low tier matchups that he really struggles with. I think that's one of them.
Takeda plays super well into Reptile and Sub-Zero.
That makes sense.
Both of those characters he plays super well. I don't think Takeda's nearly as bad as people say.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either.
Especially with the low buff, because now with like you can set stuff up with like a jump in and like Sector, for example, kind of like guarantee a jump in. It's overhead or low, and they both combo. Because the low, then the rocket hits, etc., and you can combo off of that. And he just does so much per touch, right?
Yeah.
I relate him to Noob Saibot in K11, right? He didn't get nothing until you made a mistake, and then he just destroyed you for it.
Only Takeda
That's kind of what
absurd
Takeda is.
Only he doesn't have low slide, which was like kind of like Noob's like auto neutral, but he has insane range. So that's kind of like the trade, like one trade there.
Yep. Yep.
Cool. With the new DLC coming out, and potential buffs and stuff like that, like the state of the meta, I guess I'll kind of ask you all those questions. But with the DLC coming out, I know you said you're planning on playing Ghostface. Is that like going to be like your true main? That's what you're going to do, or any other characters kind of interest you?
Growing up, I wanted to be a film critic. It was my dream job. But I live in a small town in Iowa, and I would have had to move to a big city in order for that to come to fruition. You can't see it, but right there, I actually built a movie theater. I bought a projector off Craigslist. I had a $1,000 projector sold to me for $100.
Take that, dude, all day.
So I ended up building lifts for a couch and built a theater down here. So I watch NFL games and movies.
Amazing.
And Ghostface is my favorite cinematic character of all time.
Really? That's amazing.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Stephanie Brownback. It's on the Combat Cast.
Yeah.
She's a super big Ghostface fan, and her and I were joking. And I talked to Tyler Lansdowne. Him and I were laughing about it too. They're both really big into it, and there's so many behind the scenes jokes for people who are big film fans into those movies that people don't realize. For example, slight spoiler for Scream 5. It's been out for years though. I figure at this point probably safe. There's a character in it that passes away, and the character's name was Wes. So the climax of the movie takes place at a party, and it says, we'll miss you, Wes, in remembrance of Wes, etc. People see that as just part of the movie. What people don't realize that Wes Craven, the original director and creator, passed away before Scream 5 came out, and that was a giant nod to him saying,
"Wow, really cool.
We will miss you." It's kind of a joke on horror films in general.
Yeah.
They it's a spoof of horror movies that's still scary.
Yeah.
And it's just it's the only big horror franchise that I don't think actually has a bad movie in it. Scream 3 is not great, but it's not horrible. It's still fun, you know.
Yeah.
And so when I saw him coming out, I was like, okay, which makes me actually mad because Sector was handcrafted for me. Someone from NRS hacked into my stuff, has seen how I play, and they're like, here, let's give Copper this. Let's give Copper this. She was made for me, and now I can't play her because Ghostface comes out in November.
Yeah. True. I mean, you'll have a couple months if you really want to time it there.
I don't know. I started playing Scorpion, playing a high tier for the first time in my life. I only played low tiers. The only reason I played RoboCop was because I watched Sunio play him, and Sunio was talking about how he was awful. I played him because everybody thought he sucked, and somebody dared me to go into a tournament with him. And so I played him, and I did really, really well. I finished it was ESL used to have the Sony sponsored events. I went in with RoboCop. I got 13th.
Really?
Out of 400.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that sign up for those.
Yeah, I was like, okay,
that's
maybe
insane.
This is.
RoboCop's good. RoboCop ended up being good. Yeah, it's the zoning was too strong. I don't get how people were this character's not good.
But strike throw was so clean too.
Yeah, and the way Sunio would play, because I feel the big problem was with when people play RoboCop particularly, they were getting so rhythm of if they have meter, they're amp low shot. If they don't have meter, they're gonna do this. They're just gonna walk back, shoot the gun, and then you kind of get on the rhythm, and then you're able to move in. But something Sunio is so good at is he never had a rhythm. He was always mixing it up, and whenever you had an answer to something, and he does this in this game too. It's he just mixes it up more. He's just all right, he's just less predictable, and he doesn't take it out of his game plan. He just makes it so. So then, when he does it again after a few times not doing it, he feels stupid for getting hit by it.
Well, people think of zoning as spamming, and I think that's at a low level, casual level, maybe. At a high level, zoning is an art.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of practice and stuff because you do get that pattern. I actually did a stream the other day. I was trying to. I'm not a great streamer, right? I do great like conversation stuff like that, but like I was like, oh, I'll try to do a coaching one. I tried to talk about like offensive and defensive flow charts.
Yeah.
Right? Like you picture the little bubble flow chart, you know, and so many people go to, well, I do this, and if they block it, I go to this.
Yeah.
If they, you know, connect, I go to this, blah, 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 and they just work off of that.
Yeah.
And then people don't think there's like a defensive chart. The defensive chart's basically like, if they do this, here are my options that I can do, and people will do the same one every time.
Yep.
If you're playing against a sub-chameleon, watch, because if they do the low overhead and it lands, I guarantee that they're going to get hit by it like 6 more times.
Yeah.
Because they only ever block the low in that scenario, right?
Yeah.
They get so stagnant on it.
Yeah.
And Sunio is just so good at never having a recognizable path.
Yeah.
His full chart's a maze.
Yeah. No, 100%. 100%.
It's so good.
Yeah. So like, Sunio's like from my region. Like he lives like a couple hours away from me. So we played a bunch online. I've beaten him in like combat league and stuff like that. I've never taken a tournament set from him, and it's like, it's bad. It's like I win like 50. It's like we have played a lot in 11 and in this game, and like we have close game 5s, less hits. Even offline, I went to there's this tournament called Upstate Uproar that happened in Rochester before. Last year MK11 double eliminates me. This year MK1 double eliminated me, and then he loses both times to Kerbo. So
it's so funny too, because like he'll teabag and things like that.
Yeah.
People always, I've heard people be like, "Oh, well, Sunio's a dick."
Yeah.
No, Sunio's actually incredibly nice. He's he's joking the entire time, and that's part of his play. Like I think what he does better is he plays the mental game.
Oh yeah.
So much better than everybody else. Like, people don't realize this game is 50% mentality. If you're in a
100%.
bad mood, you will play poorly.
100%.
Yeah, I make people like before we're with Evo, like, oh, let's go out. You know, we got Evo tomorrow. No, it's 9:30, 10 o'clock. Like, lay the fuck down, read a book, like go to bed, get some sleep, because like tomorrow you need it.
Yeah. 100%.
And it makes a big difference. Something we started doing, and I recommend this to anyone listening. I put in a rule, and I don't have like required rules for the players. I've got one, and it's called the ice the kicker rule. Every time they lose a tournament set, they go to character select screen. I don't care if they're not swapping characters, nothing.
Yeah.
Character select screen, set your controller down, take a drink of water. That's it. Because at a bare minimum, you're gonna slow their momentum down, right? Momentum carries over in this game.
No, I 100% agree.
And it gives you a chance to like reset and like think about it and process it.
Yeah.
Since I had the guys do that, their win percentages have doubled.
Really?
Like actually doubled.
That's.
It's
I mean, I do that. I do it.
Yeah. It's so small, and people are like, oh, does that really make a difference? Yes. Yeah. That makes a huge difference.
It lets you like pause and reflect and like kind of think about it, or at least like you said, you slow their momentum, so they're kind of like feeling it, whatever.
Yeah. Catch your breath.
Yeah.
Like it's huge. It's huge.
And we were just talking about Sunio, and you know, I've had people like come by my stream or like like KL Demons, and we're to talk about the players and stuff like that. And when we're talking about Sunio, they're always like, "Oh, he's so bad." Like I destroy him in Combat League all the time, and I'm just like, beating Sunio in Combat League is one thing. I do that all the time, but like when he's in your way in tournament, it's such like it's such a war of attrition. It's such like I entered Champion of the Realm Swiss Arena like last Friday, and I was playing so good. Like I beat like AJ, I beat like the Megan Fox 5000, who beat a bunch of really good players, and Nataro, which I thought was like a 7-3 matchup for Reptile. And I was playing super good, and I ran into Sunio, and I literally like beat him in Combat League the day before, and just 3-0 like I think 6 straight games. And it was just like, well, how is it? I kind of like woke me up. I was like, yeah, like he just like, it was like a fatigue check. It was like, you can play really good, you got these tournament sets, like the stack is kind of weighing on you. And that's like a big thing when it comes to tournament runs. It's just like the fatigue of it. Like, I feel like I can beat almost like anyone in the scene, maybe besides like the super top players. But chaining it and beating like 5, beating like just me, Miss, beating Hercules in a row in a tournament.
Did you see Bean's run in Champions of the Realms?
Oh yeah, I saw you get second. I didn't see the run. Yeah. I saw you get second.
He played 12 sets back to back.
That's
like,
crazy.
No breather.
And he plays like Sindel Tremor. That's execution. Yeah.
finger breaker kind of stuff. He went 12 sets back to back to back.
That's so crazy.
I called him like after he was so gassed.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't blame him. Right?
Yeah, that's understandable.
When we go to offline, I go and I play in them too, but like I go there to coach guys, right? I'm in their corner, I'm analyzing, I'm seeing patterns those guys do, and between sets I'll lean in, like telling me what I'm seeing. And when I do the tournaments, I pretty much always like email, even at Evo, I email them like, hey, can you move me to like this pool, like this category of pools?
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, I want to get a better run or anything like that. It's like they had A, B, and C this year, like split. I was in B. It is so hard to like coach, then focus as a player, then coach.
Yeah.
Like, let me coach and then play, or let me play and then go straight into coaching. Otherwise, I'm mentally fried.
Yeah.
At the end of it, because when you get to that level, I'm looking for 1/60th of a second gaps.
Yeah,
exactly. Like you watch Kenshi and I have to watch Kenshi and I have to tell you whether he's actually properly jailing into his forward 4.
Yeah.
And like Sento's 2 into 4, like that's a tight gap to witness it, and I've had to practice to see that. It's definitely hurt me as a player, but I can't complain. The guys have done so well, and Bean's finish yesterday got me a bit emotional because that's a really, really great finish and a really great event.
Oh yeah, no, he crushed it. Like ever since that Evo run, because I knew he was good, because he I remember seeing him at like NJ and stuff like that, and he came on my stream once and like asked me to play, and he was kind of giving me the hands of like, I always like to admit, like, if you can beat me, then you're a good player. Maybe that's just like kind of guy you think. And he was like bodying me, and then the Evo run kind of was like, okay, he's that good.
Oh yeah,
like he's good, and then it's like, okay, he's that good. And like they say, like
I think they're still sleeping on him as a player. That was his first big. That was his first offline. That was like his first offline major event.
Yeah, that's
He'd
crazy.
Never been to one like that.
He beat Arona, who's like, that's a crazy person to have to play right away, because it's Sub-Zero, which is a niche matchup. He's the best Sub-Zero, I think, like at least by like my ranking in the world.
Yeah. Bean beat him 3-0 the week prior in an online event. Right before the brackets came out, and then Arona, I was talking to Arona not too long ago, because he's like a super cool guy. And he was like, "Oh my god, I need some Dell matches. I gotta run this whole 9 yards." And that was such a fun event. It was a bummer Herc and Bean had to play into each other so early. Plus, Herc was all sad because he heard about the Kenshi nerfs.
Oh really? They're coming.
And he's like, "No," I was like, "Dude, focus!" Like,
no. Yeah, that's like a big thing, having the updated system at Evo. As people are like trying to think about like the new meta and stuff as the biggest tournament of the year is happening.
They got of course, ECT will be right after Chaos Reigns drops.
Yeah, so that's gonna be great. I wonder if it's gonna be legal there. They might not.
I would be shocked if it wasn't, just because it's maybe not the new characters will be legal, but each character that'll get new moves. Like Tanya, I don't know if it's confirmed, but Tanya Armor's a high attack now.
Yeah, I think they would,
but she can also cancel into the teleport off of the drill kick. Like,
that's interesting. I wonder what they're that's. And I think it's kind of like a rework, right? It wasn't like a straight buff. Like they nerfed like her armor or something like that, I heard. I actually haven't watched it yet, so. The armor was a mid, now it's high. Oh, okay, that changes a lot.
Which you can still jail it pretty well, right? Like, you probably don't want to.
I'm pretty sure down one still jail it.
Yeah, I'm pretty much going to just eat the overhead on forward 4-2-1-1.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just eat the overhead because.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to beat some,
That move needs to be unblockable. I really do think that they should make it like up block.
Oh, the overhead part? Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have that gap between the first and second hit.
Because
it's
so weird.
Yeah, at least for Reptile, like you just get armor broken if you try to do the gap in 4-2-1-1. If you try to armor it, so you just or you can't invincible because the second and third hitbox come out so quick. So it's like even if I try to like Sonya invincible reversal, it's work.
I got a hot take here. I hope Farah doesn't get like a massive nerf. I think she's kind of fine right now.
Yeah, I think the 150 health was like egregious. It was to the point where it was almost like, because you're definitely gonna get 50-50 at some point, and you're starting with like a combo down basically. So you're gonna get opened up by 50-50, and you have 150 less health unless you're running Pharah as well, which was just it was really hard to overcome. But now it's like 50%. The low is like unsafe. People really lean on the low. Like if it's a straight guess, I'm blocking low most of the time, just because they have the overhead with the special moves and stuff.
People, this is what I don't get to. People are like, oh my god, like it's not unreactable. Yeah. It's like 19 frames for her to get on the back, and then both moves like almost 20 frames. Yeah, both of them. So you can technically fuzzy it. The hard part is like they can delay it, right? But that's kind of the mind game of it. Yeah, and you can't block when you have Pharah, so it's like you can armor, invincible reversal, you can do a lot of things, ambush cameo, whatever. Like, I like where she's at right now. She helps a lot of characters I think were like really weak. Scorpion was considered really weak.
Not
right?
really good. Natara.
Was really weak. Don't get me wrong, he helps Homelander a ton, and Homelander did not need the help. That character is really good. But even Homelander, I don't think's broken.
It makes a Peacemaker viable again, basically. Peacemaker went from like everyone's like, oh my god, this character now with Pharah is like. I would put like towards the top.
You can actually time it to where it goes low overhead.
Really?
With his low eagly and then Pharah.
Yeah, that's it's so actual hard to blockable. Yeah. That's so nice.
Like it gives him like actual stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I've been playing with that team a little bit.
I hope they don't destroy Homelander. I'm expecting him to get a nerf.
Yeah.
Maybe make the low a little more punishable. Like for example, Takeda, you can armor like any of his gaps. Yeah. Right. Like if he does forward, is it 2?
Unless you're Reptile.
Long range one?
Some of the stuff. You can just I get armor broken sometimes by Takeda.
Forward 4 between like special cancelable. Yeah. Like should have a gap. On it. And I think that would like make it better. But other than that, like.
Yeah, I'm never a fan of like
zoning people. It's not that good. It's like he's super minus on everything he does.
And if he zones too close, like the perspective of the game's through Reptile for me. Like I do play Ermac too. People don't know about that. It's probably my two favorite characters.
Cool he's so hard to play. Yeah. But man, he is cool.
Yeah. You just gotta like practice the stuff. What it comes down to. Like I'm not like some people like you watch like Sonic Fox or like on just like day one. They're like, but like that's not. They're not human beings. There's some.
I play with Alphabet. Yeah. I swear to God, that man.
It just comes to them. Like I just sat in the practice mode like cancel. Like cancel the whole screen. Do the cancel like on block. Practice on hit, and then.
Ray's my favorite character of all time, my favorite MK character, especially this iteration. And he was the first cancel character I ever played. And oh my god, that made my brain hurt. To this day, I swear to God, if the patch doesn't come out and his input is still down up for Rain God, I'm gonna be so mad.
I hate down
worst input. Doing back 3 like Rain God cancels, I can do them.
Why is invisibility like the amount of times I go to like do like invisibility combo when I jump? I'm just like. No. And I'm just like, all right, well, there goes my whole setup. There. Because they had to make it down up, but sure, if it was down back, I would got it. But yeah, I don't know why they do that, but.
Actually, let me ask you a question.
Of course.
Which character in the Chaos Reigns are you most looking forward to, including any of them that like may have been getting a buff or something like that?
Like character-wise, so my 3 favorite characters canonically are Reptile, Ermac, and Sector. I've always played them, like the game and stuff like that, before I even knew what I was doing. Like I tried Reptile Sector in the beginning of MK. I haven't gone back to it with the buff. Now it is, yeah. And even then it was fun. It was just like I remember it was funny. I was playing Sunio, and he's like, "You should use Striker instead. Like your game plan is like it just be better with Striker." And I started using Striker, and I started doing better. So I was like. All right, like I'm not gonna just play the words cameo because I like them canonically. But now they're a main roster character. I'm gonna try Sector see if that works. But that's definitely the character I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, she looks. I thought Cyrax looked kind of goofy.
There looks good. Noob looks cool. Did you see the thing today?
Weird. Yeah, yeah.
It's like a 30-second thing, but I think Noob looks really cool.
I love Noob. I have this internal problem. I hate playing a character if everybody's playing them.
Yeah.
I wanted to play Baraka, and I was like, Baraka's gonna suck. Baraka's historically always sucked.
And
he was super good, and I didn't play him because I'm like, everybody's playing Baraka.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Today, post Evo, I was like, all right, what's another character that's not like great? Scorpion doesn't have a good projectile.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty easy. Like I could pick him up pretty quick and then help me learn better neutral stuff. Now he's pretty solid. Like he's good.
Everyone's playing.
Yeah, and I'm winning a lot of matches.
I got really good at the game all of a sudden.
Yeah, like
I don't overnight. It's crazy.
But no, I honestly I'm having so much fun with them. But Sector just looks like she's made to be everything I'm used to. Really liking. But I don't want to pick her up because Ghostface is this close to coming out, and I am hell-bent on playing him.
Yeah,
maybe I'll pick up Sector at some point down the line, but until then, I'm just full coach mode until Ghostface comes out. You guys see my Twitter handle. It says #1 Ghostface player. I'm going to make that a reality.
It's going to be rad. Speaking
I took the day off of work. Right? I already told my boss, like, hey, when Ghostface comes out, I'm taking like that day or two off. And he's like, okay.
It's like a week after he comes out. He's like, where have you been? It's like, oh, shit.
Come back with like a full beard.
Yeah. I am #1 ranked with Ghostface, though.
Bloodshot
I haven't slept in 7 days.
I have a prediction too. I think I know how he's gonna play.
Yeah, how is he gonna play? Because they're completely random at this point.
Yeah. All right. Here's my theory. I think he's gonna be a grappler. Now everyone's like, oh, Conan will be the grappler, right? Play like Kotal Khan. That feels too obvious to me for him to be like just a Kotal Khan knockoff. I think, and they're really good about doing like unique, like fun things with their characters.
Especially the DLC.
I think Kotal is gonna be more like, or not Kotal. I think Conan is gonna, he praised like a god in the show. I think he's gonna have like a bunch of buffs that he can give himself.
That'd be cool.
And he's gonna be a big damage character. And I think Ghostface is going to be a grappler. I think he's going to have an overhead throw. I think he's going to have a low throw. I think he's going to have a teleport where he runs off screen and a second Ghostface runs on screen.
That'd be cool.
The outro, like the windscreen, and I'm going to be... the knife wipe feels like the obvious.
Yeah.
But I really want him to walk up and pull the mask off, and it's a different MK character every time.
That would be cool.
Which would be super fun. Yeah. And then the throw, I think he's going to grab them, start stabbing them, grab them, turn them around, start stabbing them, pull the knife out, run off screen, and a second Ghostface is going to run in from the other side, stab him, then knock him down. That's my theory on it.
That sounds cool.
Considering how...
If you're right, we can come back to this and be like, wow, you were right here the whole time. We knew it.
I have been... If you ask anybody on the team, I have been like chirping about wanting to play Ghostface since before the game launched.
Really? Everyone's like kind of like out there. It's like, oh, maybe Ghostface. It's like because they're like, they're gonna add another horror movie character.
Yeah. If anyone watches Ed Boon's Twitter, he posted like a picture of a bunch of different like
I remember that.
like horror characters with like an X on them.
Yeah.
And it was like Chucky, Ghostface, and then I think Hellraiser were the other three that were on there.
Yeah.
And I said Ghostface is the one that fits.
Yeah.
Ghostface is the one that they could do something with, and they could do something cool. And ever since then, I have been like, I'm just waiting. When Ghostface comes out, that's all I'm gonna play.
I feel like
here we are a year later, it's happening. So.
Yeah. I haven't. I got into a little like there's some guy posted something about like how Terry Bogard was more interesting than all the MK DLC, and I was like, no, like Terry's cool and all, but like MK wins with guest characters. It's not even a debate, and like I got like, man, people were pissed. And one of the things was like none of the guests fit, and I was like, I feel like how does Ghostface not fit, or any of like the horror movie characters, or like Joker or stuff like that, like or like Spawn? And it's like. That perfect fits. What do you mean?
Well, and like they always had a theme, right?
Yeah.
Like MK X was like horror movie characters. MK11 was like 80s action.
Yeah.
And you know, with and then like some comic on there, like 80s comic book characters like Joker and Spawn started like early 90s.
Yeah.
This game is almost like a culmination of that, right?
Yeah.
We have Conan and Terminator who feel like they would have fit really well in 11.
Yeah.
And then we have Ghostface who fit really well in X, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a combination of the two.
Yeah.
Plus the original, you know, 3 guest characters were like, you know, superhero / supervillain, or like supervillains masquerading as heroes was kind of the theme. There's not a ton of those that they could do. I mean, you could have like, I guess Deadpool was technically an anti-hero, or like Venom or something like that.
Darkseid or Black Adam or something like that, maybe. Like,
they'd fit, but I feel like you're getting a little samey.
Because people are like Omni-Man and Homelander are going to be the same thing. Like, how are they going to make them different? And so it's like they added another one of those, people freak out.
I was totally wrong. I thought Homelander was going to be a zoner.
Yeah.
That's why I think the Ghostface prediction's right. Is because Homelander very easily could have been just a zoner with lasers and stuff, and he's not.
Well, they made Peacemaker the zoner.
All. Yeah.
Zoner, rush down, grappler.
I'm like, this is perfect. Like, so this is why I think it's good there. I'm really looking forward to it. Expect to see me on the big screen at Evo with a Ghostface mask on.
That would be so cool, playing Ghostface in top 8.
Yeah, I will have the mask on.
Yards.
I'm actually going to get I'm going to get a Ghostface tattoo anyways. Yeah, but this arm's all like classic American traditional. I want this one to be the same theme, but like nerdy, like subject matter. So like instead of a lighthouse, very classic tattoo, Eye of Sauron. For example, something like that. And I want to, you know, I'm covered my chest, ribs. I actually have a misspelled word in my ribcage.
Oh man!
I don't want to get it covered up at this point. It's too funny.
Yeah, at this point, it's
I was 17.
Of course.
Yeah.
Did you spell it wrong when you like wrote it down, or did they mess it up?
They type it up on like a stencil, and he screwed it up on the stencil.
Oh my god!
Yeah, today I've got a guy I go to in Kansas City. It's a bit of a drive, but I don't even know what they look like. I go down there and he, like, for example, like this was drawn on with a Sharpie.
Oh wow!
He did a dice roll like in the moment. He drew this on with a Sharpie and then just tattooed at the moment. Like he's won a bunch of awards, and I trust the guy with all of it.
Yeah, must have a guy.
And so now I don't even know what they look like, but it's totally worth it.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. Is there anything else before we get into our last topic that you feel like I didn't like ask or we didn't talk about that you wanted to, or anything else you want to shout out or anything like that?
Honestly, this was just a ton of fun. I do want to take a quick second though and do a quick shout out and thank you to the guys specifically. ProStone, who helped me get this whole thing started, right? He taught me how to run a team and everything, and then he does most of the stuff like from behind the scenes, you know, kind of helping me. But he did this whole thing with me. Vic was one of the guys that originally came over and did it with me. Him and I are exact opposites. I'm obsessed with frame data and technical knowledge, and
making reads.
He says frame data is a concept.
It's a belief system. You choose to believe
it's the combination of the two of us that I think has really helped, players like Bean and Measy and stuff able to step their game up as they kind of get people from both sides.
You get the analytical view, and then you get because it's like basically what fighting games come down to is like you just adapting and like reading your opponent, like having like the answer to this particular situation, or like knowing the best optimal combo, optimal punish is good and it will help you, but like it comes down to like if someone's just reading you or stuff like that, they're gonna win. I mean, the people that have outdated playstyles who don't play the game like a ton. That's why Sonic Fox, for example, could stay the best player in the world despite also being the best player in the world in other fighting games.
And something too that I would highly recommend to everyone out here, the one thing that I think really to me sets KG apart, that makes us different than the other big teams out there, is I don't call him Measy, I call him Justin. I don't call him Bean. I call him Sebastian. Herc. I call him Stelly. You know, like I know these guys' names. I know their significant others.
None of their names.
Yeah, I know their names. I know their significant others. I know their pets. I know that they do for a living. Like they know my kids. Like my kids will come on camera and like talk with them. And
That's amazing.
you know, it's really important to me because at some point I'm going to be frustrated and I'm going to be mad. But having some of that real like friendship connection, right? Where it's not like, oh, some name on a screen, right?
Yeah.
Knowing what they look like and having that one-on-one connection, that does more for your development in the game than absolutely anything. You know, every single one of those guys has my personal cell phone number, and we text back and forth, and you know, that is what's taken this game to the next level. So if you're out there and you're playing this game and I play with this guy, you know, I play with John Tobias, whatever, you know, like that's his username.
Yeah.
Ask him like, hey, by the way, like tell me something like about you, and you'd be amazed how that connection and stuff will just help you like get together and even level up even better. So it's my favorite part about the scene, favorite part about KGE. And anyone who's listening, please find our Twitter. You know, look up my
everything.
Twitter. Yeah, shoot me a DM. Like I love to just sit and hang out and play games. Even if it's not MK, we can play other games. Play Dead by Daylight or Warhammer. I'm all
Super
for
Smash
it.
Bros. Melee.
I'm so bad at that game, but like it's so fun.
That would slip me, you know, maybe we can play sometime. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So before I let you go, so I want to talk about like a personal topic. So you said you were a very big Minnesota Vikings fan. Mistaken, right? Die hard. So how did you feel about this past weekend? It was a big win. I mean, they probably played the second worst team potentially in the NFL. The only other team that I feel like looked worse is, we talk about that later. But, so yeah, how'd that feel? Because they're kind of like, it was kind of low expectations. Like, oh, Caleb Williams, Jordan Love was so good. Lions are like stacked roster, so they kind of came in under the radar. So how'd you feel about that week one win?
So the Vikings are historically good at this, and I hate it. It's the worst part. I'm terrified that CPS is going to show up at my house and take my kids away because making them be Vikings fans is equivalent to child abuse in some ways. But they're notoriously good at giving you hope and then yanking it from you. You know, we had J.J. McCarthy go down. Jordan Addison, you know, great wide receiver, was kind of injured. T.J. Hawkinson was a great tight end. You know, out for a couple weeks. So, like, I was like, oh, you know, this is kind of a dump season, right? That's what it felt like it was going to be. But I'm more cautiously optimistic for Sam Darnold. Third overall pick, great arm, like a real good talent. And, you know, I treat NFL and fantasy football, for example, the same way I treat, you know, MK, and I like to look at, like, very specific stuff. And looking back at Sam Darnold's career, never had a great, like, wide receiving core and a great offensive-minded coach at the same time, right? The Jets didn't have pretty much either. Went to the Panthers, had...
they're terrible because Darnold, terrible. Baker, terrible. Baker goes to Tampa Bay, looks amazing. Goes to LA, the Rams, after Stafford got hurt, did amazing. Went to Tampa Bay and made the playoffs last year, looked really good this week. Darnold, kind of looking insane.
I think Darnold went... I forget where Darnold was last year.
He was San Francisco, wasn't he, backup?
I think so. Is San Francisco or LA?
Pretty sure he was the backup.
But
that was why they traded Trey Lance, because there was like, Sam Darnold's going to be the backup.
Yeah. And so I was cautiously optimistic because you have Kevin O'Connell, who was a really great quarterbacks coach and knows the position well, a really smart offensive-minded guy. You know, people were like, when they didn't hire Jim Harbaugh and they put Kevin O'Connell, I was even on the like, oh no, like Harbaugh's got such a winning, you know, there. But Kevin O'Connell has just impressed me through and through, and this was another example. Do I think we'll like destroy win the Super Bowl? No. But I could see us being a fringe playoff team.
100%.
You know, and super underrated the defense. Brian Flores, crazy good, like defense coordinator. Him getting fired in Miami was a travesty. That guy was first like 3 winning seasons they'd had in like a decade, fired. But yeah, I'm terrified. I just want to do good while he's here because I know he's not going to last. He's going to be a head coach somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic. I just know that they're gonna.
They have weapons. I mean, Darnold can just kind of like operate, kind of do like the Alex Smith thing, of like because Aaron Jones did amazing yesterday. Was super good when he was healthy for the Packers though.
Yeah,
underrated,
really
good. Yeah, that's a big thing. That's why they got rid of him. Was just like he's older, and so they signed like a younger Josh Jacobs, but like they kind of just fell to Minnesota, and so and then they have Justin Jefferson, best receiver in football. And then like we got like Addison, like when they got Hawkinson back to me another weapon, so their offense could be a defense. So they definitely could be a sneaky good team. That division is just so rough. So
I think long term they're going to be. I think I wasn't big on JJ McCarthy, but there was one thing that changed my mind. And if you look at the history of NFL quarterbacks and like how well they do like in the league, there's one stat in particular that it's tied to that people don't talk about, which is accuracy. Their like throwing percentage, their accuracy number, if it's over 70%, they historically do really well or like have a long career. In this draft, there were only 2 quarterbacks that were over 70%. One of them was Daniels, who went to Washington, who I loved.
You did a good guess.
And then the other was JJ McCarthy, who threw 76%. Completion rate, which is really, really good.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, well, he did a lot of dink and dunk, right? True. But he also made that means he didn't overshoot, right?
Yeah.
Like he took the yards and they won a championship with it.
Yeah. I mean, how many times like 5-6 times a game he's gonna be able to throw Arthur Jefferson?
Yeah.
You're gonna be better than the defender. So.
Yeah. Nope. Yeah. And Addison, I know he's not the biggest guy, but he's good. Great route runner. And Hawkinson's so physical player. So.
So Hawkinson's a crazy like safety blanket for a quarterback to have. So I think it'll be good. It sucks that he's not gonna have an opportunity because like I feel like Darnold was gonna be a starter anyway because like there's no reason to rush McCarthy in.
It was the bridge quarterback.
Yeah.
He was gonna be there. Maybe McCarthy would have played
halfway through the season or something like that.
Yeah, but honestly, I think Darnold could, win a playoff game. I think he could take him to the playoffs and win a playoff game.
The Baker Mayfield
with the Vikings. If he does that, I still want to see McCarthy start next year. But I think
Darnold can go somewhere and one to these bad teams, like I know, like Cleveland or something.
But I kind of really wish I kind of hope he stays even in a backup role because Sam Darnold, I did a bunch of research on him before. He's actually like super good on the whiteboard. Oh, really? Like that's one of his like strongest suits. He's just a really like smart guy, which I think having that as a backup is more important than almost their playmaking skill at a lot of points.
100%. Yeah. I guess I feel like we went pretty in depth there. If you're interested, we can talk about the Panthers. Not sure. Did you watch any of that game? Because I was at my mom's this weekend, and I was at a bar. But we made sure like she could watch the Bengals. I'm a Panthers fan. My brother's a Lions fan, so the game wasn't until that night. So we're both.
I'm actually kind of rooting for the Lions. I know they're in my division and stuff, but I just kind of want.
It's just a cool story. It's just like, especially if you've been a fan for like since you were a kid, like you watch the Bengals be so good. To the point where it's like, okay, they're finally good. Let them be good for a little bit, and then they're gonna like maybe they'll win a Super Bowl or something. They'll have a couple, and then you're gonna start being like, wait. Now they're the rival. They were like they were like the funny team in the division that like maybe like they would beat you because it's a divisional game, but like they never were a threat, and now they are. So it's kind of almost cool. Yeah. I feel like the novelty will wear off at some point.
The one part that worries me because I like the Panthers. I don't mind their defense. Like their defense, I don't think's.
They got shredded by Derek Carr.
I know.
I was like, it was like. I didn't think the Panthers, I didn't have high expectations. It was like, they're playing the Saints. Like, the Saints are not that great. And the Saints looked like the Kansas City Chiefs. They were just like ball, and they were just throwing bombs. Everything was working out. Kamara was running for 10 yards every play. Like,
they got rid of Brian Burns, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
That sucks. It was such a good defensive player. Actually, I take that back. He went to the Giants. I think he went to the Giants.
Did he?
Because I think he was playing against the Vikings this weekend. But I historically really liked what they did, and I like the quarterback they drafted a few years ago. Problem is, it feels like his line isn't good.
Bryce Young?
and I love Adam Thielen.
Yeah, I love Adam
But
Thielen too. It's classic. Yeah.
Thielen shouldn't be your wide receiver number one.
No, he's not right now. He was last year.
Is it?
Because they traded for Deontay Johnson, with the Steelers over the offseason. But like he's like a, and then they drafted Xavier Leggett from I don't say the Army Rowan School, but he's good too. They have some weapons. Right? Yeah. In the first round, they traded into the first round because they traded their first round pick for this year. That was a terrible trade, potentially one of the worst trades of all time. Because they just waited a season, they could have got Caleb Williams, but who knows? Or they could have just drafted CJ Stroud. They could have done either or. But I mean, who knows? Stroud could be just as bad with the weapons and the team around him. And Bryce Young could be balling in Houston, and then we'd be like, we should have drafted Bryce Young. We were so stupid. Like,
it just feels like they didn't give Young a lot to succeed on, which is a bummer because
I mean they drafted a receiver in round 1. They drafted a running back round 2, although he's gonna miss like 4 weeks. But and then they traded for Deontay Johnson. Like they tried. They definitely tried.
Yeah. I think they were just kind of on a sinking ship. Like they didn't.
And it's also not a big market. Like it's not like
they wanted.
It's not like they can sign like a big name. You know what I mean? This was going to go to Carolina unless they were going to just give them a bunch of money. So it was like it's not a very popular destination spot at this point.
I mean, we gave an arm and a leg, and our pension for Justin Jefferson.
I mean, that's understandable.
Yeah, but like because of that, the market for everybody else goes way up.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. I see Lamb got that huge deal. So.
Exactly. So I think I think Bryce Young has a lot. The Panthers for me are a team that. Probably, I haven't seen their schedule, but I can see them going like 0-4.
Yeah, they play Seattle this week. That's like a winnable game. But I thought the Saints were, and they got blown out. So
I see the Panthers as a team that like has a rough start of the season, and then things start to come together at the end, and they go into the offseason with momentum.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope because like I watched in that game, it was like I went into like hopeful. They did in the preseason, like where they played a lot of their starters against the Bills and they did good. And then they just like I was like had optimism. I was like we're playing the Saints. Like this is like a divisional matchup, pretty easy, the easiest team in the division, one of the worst teams in the NFC, this is the NFL in general, and they just. My hope was gone at halftime, like for the season. It was like, wow, that was awful. It was 30 to like nothing. Like my mom and brother were watching the game, like, oh, it could be worse. Like every time they kept on saying it could be worse, and I was like, at halftime it's like 30-0. It could be worse. I'm like, no, it couldn't have. It could not have been any worse than that. So they gave up a huge touchdown right off the bat, and then he threw an interception. Like that's the worst possible start. And then they get a field goal, and then they get another turnover, and then they score 7. It was 17-0 before like. It was just like wow, like it got bad really quickly, and it's
one of those where you want to shut it off before it gets to halftime. You're like,
I
get it. Being a diehard fan, it's hard because you feel like you want to like stay and watch and support it. But God, it's a rough watch.
I feel like as a Minnesota fan, like you're always gonna have that because of that Colts game a couple years ago where they were down by like 33, and they came back and won. Like you're always gonna feel like you have hope just because of that one win.
Actually, I owned a graphic design company, and my goal was to make like overlays and stuff for small streamers. It was more affordable. I just got beat out by like Own 3D and those other Nerd or Die. I just couldn't compete with them. But I was at a conference I had a booth where I was trying to promote my stuff, and I wasn't getting a lot of traffic. And I had a TV set there with a demo, and I wasn't getting enough traffic. And the game was I was watching on my phone. And I was just like, oh, this is depressing. Yeah. And I'm watching it, and they start to make a comeback, and I'm like, screw it. And I hooked up to the TV and put the game on it, and I just sat in the aisle, walking by, and next thing I had like 25 people around me, and we were just losing it with the Vikings game going on.
That's
and
amazing.
This was in like Kansas City. I wasn't even in like Minnesota or anything, but people were just losing their mind.
That's amazing.
It was a lifetime memory. The Minneapolis Miracle. My wife was pregnant, and if my daughter would have been a boy, Keenum was on.
Oh really? Oh, because the against New Orleans.
Yeah, I would have.
I'm gonna watch that. That was crazy. And then that was when they went to play the Eagles, right? And they got kind of destroyed.
Yeah.
I don't oh my God! Like it's meant to be. It's meant to be. And then I remember because I have a close friend who is an Arizona fan. In fact, the Panthers had that 15-1 season when they made the Super Bowl. It was 2016 or 2015.
Yeah,
or 2016.
I remember because Cam Newton did not dive on the football.
Yeah. He did everything for that team that year. I know. He was that team. He single-handedly was a player and brought an entire football team. Well, the defense was amazing too, with like the big leads.
Yeah.
But I had a friend who was a big Arizona fan, and they were like the second best team. And it was like the NFC Championship game, and the Panthers just destroyed them. It was like 30-0 at like halftime. It was like bad. It was like the game was over like halftime. And everybody's like, dude, just like there's so much hope, and the NFC is like anything can happen, and then just like for that to happen.
Well, coming full circle, one of the biggest reasons I love the Vikings is because of the Minneapolis Miracle, and not because of how the game ended, but their punter broke his sternum or like a serious like injury at the first punt of the game, and he played the entire game. And then the Minneapolis Miracle happened, and the entire Saints team walked off. Like they were like refusing to do the PAT after that, right? And you have to do the PAT. There was one Saints player that stayed on the field and went out there for the PAT, and it was the injured punter.
Really?
And before the night was over, Vikings fans had donated $150,000 to the charity that guy owns.
Oh, really?
There wasn't like I got on there and it wasn't like, screw you Saints, ha ha ha. A bunch of it was like, hey, thank you to Moore, I think was his name, like Sean Moore, something like that, for like being such a good sport and stuff like that. And it reaffirmed why I love being a Vikings fan, because I call it a Midwest insult, where we like insult someone, but it's kind of a compliment. Be like, like in an MK example, be like someone playing Homelander Fair, like, oh yeah, no, you're just using Homelander Fair because they're so good. I mean, he's pretty hard to play, and you were really crisp with those cancels, but still, that's the meanest insult that you'll get out of somebody from the Midwest. So you would like somehow compliment.
They somehow like the execution is really hard and stuff like that. Like you're carried, but like he's really hard to play.
Yeah, you're carried, but I can tell you've put a lot of practice and dedication into it.
A lot of skill, but you're still carried. I'm only moderately impressed by your gameplay.
My players say I'm too nice.
I'm honestly the same way. Like Skash and stuff. So Skash, the guy who I run Charity KGE, we actually grew up on the same block. Like I've known him my whole life. And actually, the meme is that he's known me longer than I've known me, because that's how young you're on like the same block. Like because he's a few years older than me. So like that's how young I know him. Like basically my whole life. And his dad had like an ultimate UMK3 cabinet, so we would like go down there and play. But I was like way too young to be playing it, and then he got like MK4, and then we just got to MK games, and then I got into like competitive Smash, and then when MK11 came out, it was like the newest MK game. Like at the time after I got into Smash, I was like, oh, we should we should get into it, and like we should like go to tournaments and stuff like that. And then like the shutdown happened, and like, oh, I ran the local Smash tournaments in my area, so I was like, yo, we should run like online MK tournaments. And then because he was like streaming at the time, so like he could stream it and I could do the bracket side, and kind of just all happened from there. But yeah, I guess that's a little backstory to me. But, do you have anything else you would like to say before we did the podcast for a while?
Just thank you, Poseidon, for having me on. This guy and the guys over at SRTV let me co-commentate an event like a few months ago, and it was a dream come true.
Oh, really?
SRTV was one of my first ever like events when I first got into it, and it to this day is like a pillar of like the MK community as far as online events. Aquaman's Coliseum, Rips Arena, and probably Champions of the Realms are like the four like events that keep this community alive and going. And so thank you for having me, because it's always a blast.
Absolutely. Before I say goodbye, we were talking about tournaments. I always like to shout out the Mushi Temple, because he does a weekly, and it's like payouts. So like lot of teams, like we've even gone to like doing like qualifiers more instead of doing like weekly payouts. So those are shout out because it's like a labor of love because you don't get to put up like $1,000 tournament series. It's like $50 every Wednesday night.
Well,
But
and HDGG too,
HDGG,
with
yeah.
Black Jesus, and they do a really, really great job. Like that's my favorite part. I almost look for tournaments that have no money put up for them because that's why I love doing Slayer events.
Yeah.
Because they're
It's
just,
cool. It's just like,
they're competitive, but there's almost like a casual like fun.
yeah, exactly. It's like if like you don't do good, like if you do good, it's like, oh wow, that's awesome. If you don't, you're not gonna go and like fucking beat your
Don't get
head
me
on the
wrong.
wall.
There's a place for those, but you
Yeah.
also need like the SRTV and stuff where you
Yeah.
feel like you need to sweat your ass off to place well.
Add some like
and,
legitimacy and stuff because it's not always about like, oh, I could win $200. It's more like it's kind of like it adds to the legitimacy of it. It's like people are going to be trying because they're going to want that $200, so it makes it like the stakes higher and stuff. But thank you so much for coming on. It's been a blast. I'm going to leave all of Copper's socials in the description. So for Kingsguard and for him personally, so definitely make sure to check that out. Click all of them and follow him. And it's been fun, man. I'll see you around. Sure.